get the recording from you later. Okay, go for it, Courtney.
Great. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. So I'm going to teach you a basic time step in tap dance. So tap dance is very based in rhythm. So we're actually going to start not dancing at all, doing the rhythm. So my turn, da, 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 da. And your turn, da, 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 da. My turn again, da, 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 da. And your turn without me. Let's do it one more time. Ready, and my turn. Da, 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 da. And your turn. Yay. Okay, give me a thumbs up if that's going great, a thumbs down if you're lost, and somewhere in between. Beautiful. So now get up on your feet. I'm going to move my camera so you can see my feet. And find a place where you can move your feet around. All right. So the first thing we're going to learn is called a stomp. So pick up your right foot and stomp it on the ground in front of you, flat foot all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, stomp. And we'll do that a few times if you're figuring out your camera. So 1, 2, 3, stomp. Last time, 1, 2, 3, stomp. And now we're going to pick up that foot and put it in the back. So we're just going to rock back and forth, stomp front, stomp back. Join in with me, front, back, using that same right foot, front, back, front, back. Now in between, pick up your left foot. So back, front, front, back, picking up that foot. Now do it and stomp on the front and go back and stomp and back and stomp and back and stomp. This is it to the side. Stomp and back and stomp and back. Beautiful. Now we're going to learn something called a flap. So if this is my feet, a flap, this is your toe. You're going to go flap. So it's just like it sounds when you say it. Flap. And it will make that sound. Flap. So that's your toe. So if we move back to my feet, we'll be going, if this is the side, and you'll be losing your left foot. Flap. Just at the toe. Flap. So join with me when you feel ready. Left foot. Flap. And it helps to say it. Flap. Flap. 2 more times. Flap. Flap. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling all right in a flap, and somewhere in the middle if you're somewhere in the middle. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to take that flap and then chase your foot. So flap, left foot, chase your right foot. It wants to join in. It wants to be involved. So it tries to chase it, but your left foot's like, no, this is my thing. I'm going to step forward. So flap, chase, stomp is what we're doing. So 1, 2, left foot, flap, step, stomp. Move it back. 1, 2, ready, and flap, step, stomp. One more time, shuffle back. 1, 2, ready, and flap, step, stomp. How are we doing with that whole section? Flap, step, stomp. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna put it all together. So for time's sake, and also because I got mostly thumbs up. So going back to my feet. So we're gonna do the part we started with. So stomp, up, back. So our rocking thing, we're just isolating it, just doing it once, stop, hop, back, and then connecting it with what we just did, flap, step, stomp. And that will make the rhythm we did at the beginning. So my turn, stomp, hop, back, flap, step, stomp. Now with me, so starting with your right foot, 1, 2, ready, and stomp, hop, back, flap, step, stomp. Take a second to reset, find your right foot again. 1, 2,
And we're out of time.
okay.
All right.
I was just gonna do it one more time, but
that's great. Okay, cool. Yeah, and also just like Courtney did, you can always tell us what you were going to do next when you run out of time, because this will happen often in class where we'll run out of time, and not a problem at all. So go ahead and jot some thoughts to Courtney. And Courtney, maybe this would be a good time for you to maybe just write down some self-reflection while it's fresh. All right, and I think it's Steven's going to be next. Is that what you guys are calculating too? Okay, we'll take about 20 more seconds on your feedback. I know it's not a lot of time. Sorry about that. All right, take us away, Steven.
All right, try to ignore the dishes back there. I clearly haven't done a job yet. So since it's lunchtime today, I'm going to try to teach you guys how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, this is a very open-ended idea, so there's a lot of ways to do it, but this is just kind of how my mom did it for me when I was little. So first, we're going to go over what you need for this beautiful creation. What I have some jelly. We have some peanut butter. We have a plate. We have a knife, a butter knife, so we don't get too dangerous here. And then first, we'll need 2 pieces of bread. Again, very open-ended. So I just went with some, I'm trying to cut down a little bit. So 40-calorie whole grain wheat bread. Yeah. Frankly, that doesn't sound the best sometimes, but you can toast it if you want to, and that just adds a whole different dimension. So first, you take your bread, you can toast it or you can not toast it. I'm not going to toast it for now. Also, before I continue, can everyone hear me? Okay? Thumbs up. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. So we have our bread not toasted or anything, and I'm going to bring it onto a more reasonable surface because I'm not quite tall enough for this counter. And I like to do the peanut butter first, because one important step to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I think, is the ratio of peanut butter to jelly or jam. And if you have a nut allergy or a peanut allergy, any kind of nut butter works, or butter substitute. But yeah, so back to the ratio. I think it's very important to have a good ratio of peanut butter to jelly because, well, if you have too much peanut butter, your mouth is going to get sticky. If you get too much jelly, it gets a little sloppy and it kind of gets everywhere. And as either an adult trying to go on the fly or a kid trying to eat a lunch in school, a messy jelly situation is not what we want to have. Yeah, I'm very versed in these. I was a picky kid as growing up. So now we're going to start with our peanut butter process. We have about X amount of peanut butter so far. That can be variable as well, however much you're comfortable with, depending on how many times you want to go back into the jar of peanut butter. If you're kind of lazy like me, you get a lot of peanut butter right away, you don't have to go back to the jar very much. So now we're getting a good spread, nice and smooth. I'll show in a sec. It's kind of hard to do talk at the same time. I didn't anticipate this. Okay. So we have a nice spread of peanut butter. There was a hole, so I had to cover that up. We don't want holes. That's just room for jelly to slide through. It's all about efficiency. Okay. Just show it one more time. I think that's an ample amount of peanut butter. Now onto the jelly. Here we have natural Smucker's Concord grape squeezable jelly. Again, trying to cut down a little bit, only 40 calories per serving. These are important things when putting together your sandwich. You got to be conscious. You know, it's all about what you want, whatever your experience is, that is what is most important. So now the jelly is open, and so we don't have to wash our knife off. Again, I'm a lazy individual. We got the squeeze bottle. So you squeeze a little, and this comes out kind of fast. So again, we don't want too much jelly. So if you start with a little bit, it's a lot easier to add more than it is to scrape some off. Now we'll use the other side of the knife, keep it clean. And we'll start spreading that a little bit as well. Again, we don't want too much clump because then it's going to get everywhere and it won't mix as well, especially when you're trying to eat. Exactly what I said before, there's a hole in the bread. So the jelly slid through, as you can see on the plate right there. We don't want that. So simply put, back onto the bread we go because we have a clean plate. And I always like a little bit extra peanut butter because peanut butter is just a little bit more yummy to me. So now we have our jelly. We have our peanut butter. And since the peanut butter is less likely to fall off the bread, we go over the top with the peanut butter like so. And then you can give it a little press if you want or not. Again, up to you. If you have a panini press, that seems like that could be a pretty fun investment as well. You know, just an idea. But overall, this is how you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. And right about 5 minutes exactly. So you must have practiced that. All right. Well done.
I did. They're yummy.
Now you can enjoy that for lunch during class. All right. Now we're all super hungry. All right. So go ahead and give Stephen some of your feedback. Courtney and Stephen, when you get a chance, can you check Canvas just to see if my comments and grade went through or not? Because I'm first time I'm doing this. I just want to make sure it's coming through on your end. Okay. Okay. We have Eviatar. If you're good to go, you can get started.
All right, good morning, guys. At least here it's still morning. Today I'm going to teach you all a very important lesson, a very important instrument, and that is hand whistling. So first, let me explain why this is such an important instrument. One, you can transport it with you everywhere you go, just like your voice. And two, it makes a really obnoxious sound, which is great for annoying your friends and family. So we'll start by just going over the mechanics of how to hand whistle. And then I'll show you kind of some advanced techniques. keep in mind that hand whistling, when I first learned it, probably took me several hours, or at least several tens of minutes before I was able to actually get a sound. So don't necessarily expect to be able to make a sound in the first 5 minutes, but maybe I'll teach effectively enough so that you will. So step one, you're gonna lay your, whatever your dominant hand is, like this would be my right hand, and you're gonna want to karate chop across your hand like this. So if you can just go along with me, you're gonna want like the, it's gonna be along the crease of your hand where your palm meets your fingers, and that's where you're gonna karate chop your hand. Step two, you're gonna want to wrap your fingers around your around this crease between your thumb and your pointer finger. So karate chop, wrap. Yeah. So that's halfway through about. Step three, you're gonna want to make like a little cave. So this angle is weird. A little cave in your hand, and you're gonna want it to be sealed. You don't need to press your hands really hard together. You just want a good seal. And then your last step is going to be putting your thumbs together like this. Okay. Here's another angle. Now, once you have that, all you're going to do is blow lightly on your thumbs. It's going to sound like something like that. So I'll give you like 10, 15 seconds to try to figure it out. Then I'll give you some more strategies that might help with getting a sound. So go for it. All right, so I see you guys are trying all sorts of things, which is great. Some of you, like I see, you're trying to blow really hard. Actually, blowing really hard isn't going to make it any easier. It's all about having a resonating chamber in your hand. So you're going to want to make sure that it's sealed. If there's air escaping, that's going to be a problem. And also, if it's not clear where to blow, you're kind of like kissing your thumbs like this. And you're going to want to experiment with also the angle you're blowing at, because that will affect whether you're going to get a sound. So if you try switching the angle, give that a go. All right, once you've figured that out, which presumably we haven't all figured it out yet, but assuming you will at some point, some things you can do with hand whistling. You can practice glissing. And you can play songs. So I don't know, let's see if anyone recognizes this song. And how you're changing the pitches is essentially you're moving your hand out like this, and that's changing how the air flows. I don't know if I can explain exactly the physics of it, but that's all. So go home, practice hand whistling. I expect to see you all hand whistling tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Aviatar. Wow. Very cool. We should have a band composer write a hand whistle part in the middle of the piece. That'd be pretty amazing. All right. All right. Gotta wind up your comments for Evyatar. All right, and Suda, take it away.
All right, so today we're gonna learn a soccer skill called what is it called? Scissor. The scissor move. So it's like you can use this move to like go around a defender often in a like game situation. So you're gonna like need to stand up and then like have a little bit of space, like maybe like 5 feet. And then I'm gonna like camera angle it towards the ground. And then if you have like a tiny object that you can like jump around or something, or if you have a ball, that's even better. But yes. So I'll give you a little bit time to set up for that, and yeah. If you don't, that's fine. But so what you're gonna do is, oh shoot, imagine that you have like a ball in front of you if you don't have one. Oh my gosh. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna like draw a circle around your ball, like with your foot, and then put your foot down, and then keep doing that. Does everyone get the first step? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. All right, so after that, so you're gonna like put the foot around the ball, then you're gonna transfer the weight fully onto the right foot, and then have your left foot like right next to the ball on the other side. So then do that with me, and then on the left side. And then after that, what you're gonna do is you already like went around the ball and you're like ready to change your weight. So you're gonna go the other way. So you're gonna go left and you're gonna like nudge the ball to the left with your foot. So it'll go like that fast. And then when you go from this step to this step, like in a game situation, you would do it like fast. So you would jump onto the other foot and then like make it look like you're going that way when you're like faking the other way. And then if you want to try that a couple times. And then yeah, that's basically it.
All right, cool. Suda, are you in the middle of your lesson or are you done?
I said I was done.
Okay, you're done for sure. Okay, cool. All right, let's take some time to give Suda some feedback. All right. Well, Lee, if you're ready to rock and roll, we're ready for you.
All right. So before we start, everyone needs a wall that they can lean on. If you can. If you can't, you can still do it. But if you are able, please stand and obtain a wall. I'm gonna get you away from the pearly gates that are my blinding windows. Trying to find a sweet spot. So what we're doing today is I'm gonna teach you how to do a roundhouse kick. The kick looks like this. That's the kick. And there are a couple steps. The first step is the initial stance. The second step is the pivot. Third step is the chamber. And then release of the chamber, recollection, and back down. Those are all the steps. Now we're going to go one by one. Your first step is going to be your initial stance, also known as a sparring stance. You want your hips facing one direction. You want your arms and fists. Can everyone put their hands out with me? Put your fingers in like this and your thumbs underneath. And these are fists. These are pretty standard fists. And you want to bring them in so that they're vertical and that your elbows are tucked into your body. Next, for your feet, you want your feet, you kind of look like this in the sense that you want your dominant foot, whichever one you want to be kicking with. For me, it's my right in the back, and you want the one that's not dominant in the front, like this. And you want to distribute your body weight evenly, and then move onto the balls of your feet. So no flat-footed, balls of your feet. And then just bounce if you can once you get to the balls of your feet. All the while, keep your arms tucked in while you bounce. Can I get a thumbs up to see if everyone understands that? Cool, cool. Awesome. So now we're going to move forward with what's called the pivot. The pivot is essential for this specific kind of kick. If you're like this, what you're going to want to do is take your back foot, whichever one is dominant. For me, it's my right. And you're going to want to swivel it around all the way so that your hips, which are once facing this way, are now facing the opposite direction of the way that you're kicking. So if I'm kicking with my right foot, I want my hips to end up 90 degrees facing my left. And it's going to look like this. The pivot is just swinging it around so your feet end up like this. Just take that back foot and swing it around. Make sure that your front leg goes from this direction all the way 90 degrees to the opposite, the left. Take that and swing it around. Can I get thumbs up to see if everyone understands where to swing? Great. Thank you, by the way, for keeping all your arms up while you're doing that. I love it. Nice. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to take that pivot and move into that pivot stance. So swing that around. And you should be facing, again, if for me it's my left. If you used your left foot, you're right. What you want to do now is you're going to want to move to that wall. And you're going to want your left foot, so your non-kicking foot, to be against that wall. And you're going to want to grab it for balance. I'm not, because I've done this kick a bunch. And then you want to bring this foot up. And you want to bring it up in a way where it's a V. So you want to bring that foot out and bring it in and grab your ankle. And what you're going to want to do after that is release and grab it back. Now you don't have to be doing it parallel to the ground. That should be your end goal. But if you need to put it diagonally down towards the ground, kick down like this, that's also totally acceptable. Just make sure that the kick itself is, if your knees should line up. So you don't want the kick, for me, if my knee is here, I don't want, here, let me show you. If my knee is here, you don't want your leg going down like this. You don't want to turn your hip. Your hip should stay the same, and your leg should be the only thing that's moving. If you look at my back foot, I'm not rotating like this. It's completely still. It's just the front leg. How's everyone doing on that? Can I get a show of thumbs down, middle, up to see how we're doing on that kick? Look at Mark. I love that kick, Mark. That was great. So again, so let's go back to our initial ready stance. Kicking leg back, arms in. And what you're going to want to do now is put everything together very slowly. You're going to want to pivot. As you pivot, make sure you're on the balls of your feet so that when you slide all the way up, you can crack up into that kicking stance. Slide up. So you're going to want to get back in, pivot, up, release, back, in. Let's try that one more time, real slow. Ready? Pivot, up, release, back, down. Yeah, and you can do the same thing on your non-dominant leg too. right? It's totally possible, but for the sake of the lesson, I just wanted to get you on your dominant leg. And this is a really fun exercise. If you grab a wall, you can start chambering it and practicing at different lengths, because you want to be able to land this kick at any point, right? You can kick it low, you can kick it high, you can kick it medium, whichever one. And when you get better, you can kind of keep going, right? You can even switch the other leg. It's like a whole thing. I fell. But yeah, it's like the standard kick for most of Taekwondo, which is what I grew up doing. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you very much. It looks great for your first time. Most people don't get it that fast. I think I'm done,
All
Dr.
right.
Arau.
Thanks, Lee. All right. Super impressive. I think it's been years since I could even be close to that flexible. So well done. All right. All right, Addie, if you're ready to go, we're excited to learn from you.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be teaching you a card game called Estimation. And this is something that I played a ton over the holiday break with my dad and my little brother. And so I thought it'd be fun to share with you all. So I can't see what I'm showing you guys. So if at any point you can't read what the cards are, just like let me know, and then like just unmute and say something, then I'll readjust. But yeah, I have this table set up here with 3 different players for an example. I've already dealt them their first hand, and we'll just jump right into it. So the goal of the game is to earn the most points by the end. And you do that by betting how many tricks you're going to win, and then winning exactly that many tricks. If you win too many or too few, either way, you score 0 points. The only way to score points is by getting the same number that you bet. So player 1 is going to go first, and they can just play any card from their hand. So they're going to play 10 of diamonds. Now, the other players, if they have a diamond in their hand, they have to play it. So player 2 here, they have 9 of diamonds. They're going to play that. Oh, I forgot to do something. At the beginning, before you start playing, you flip over the top card of your deck, and that's what the trump suit is. So a trump suit for this hand is going to be spades. So anyway, now it's player 3's turn. They don't have any diamonds in their hand, which means they can play anything they want. And so 2 different things can happen in that scenario. You either have trump in your hand, in which case you can play it and it beats out whatever is already there. Or if you don't have trump or the suit that was led, then you just have to play something else. And so player 3, they'll play a heart. Now everyone's played. And so to figure out who wins, whatever the lead suit is, whoever has the highest card of that lead suit wins. So player 1 has a 10 of diamonds, player 2 played a 9 of diamonds, so player 1 wins that trick. Now, whoever won the previous trick leads the next one. So player 1 is going to lead again, and they'll play Queen of Hearts. So now player 3 is pretty excited about that because they have an Ace of Hearts. So if no one else plays trump, then they'll play that Ace of Hearts, have the highest heart, and then win the trick. Unfortunately for them, player 2 has a spade, which is the trump suit right now. So player 2 is going to play that. And even though player 3 has the highest heart, the trump suit beats the suit that was led. So player 2 wins that trick. Okay, now everyone's played the cards in their hand. And so we're going to look over at what they bet at the beginning. Can you guys read that okay? Okay, so player 1 bet 2 at the beginning, but they only won 1 trick, which means they scored 0 points. Player 2 bet 1, and they won 1 trick. And if you make your bet, you get 10 points plus the number that you won. So they get 10 plus 1, which is 11 points. Player 3 bet 0, and they won 0. So even though they didn't win any tricks, they bet on the fact that they're going to win 0 tricks by betting 0. And so that means that they still get points, even though they didn't win anything. And so they get 10 points plus 0, but still 10 points. Okay, great. Now I need to take a second to set up, but we can go on to the next hand. And, assume that I shuffle all the cards back into the deck and then I deal everything back out to everyone. Over the course of the game, the hands increase in size. So you start off with 2 cards in the first hand and then 3 cards in the second hand and so on. Okay, so now everybody has their second hand and they're going to bet again. So let's just go player by player. Player 1, oh, here, let's reveal the trump as well. So top card, flip it up. It's hearts this time. Player 1 has a really high hearts. And so and also a really high cards of like other random suits. And so they think, okay, I can probably win at least 2 tricks. So they'll bet 2. Player 2 over here, they have a pretty high trump card. And so they think, you know what, I can also probably win 2. Player 3, they have 2 trump cards, but neither of them are very high. And so maybe they're thinking, okay, I'll probably win 1. Now we start again. And last time, player 1 was the first person to lead. So player 2 is going to lead first this time. And they'll say they play 10 of hearts, which forces everyone else to play hearts. So player 3 here, they don't want to give up their higher hearts. So they're going to play 2 of hearts. Player 1, they have hearts as well. And so they play that. Now the king of hearts beats out the 10 of hearts. So player 1 wins this trick and then they lead the next one. Now player 1's thinking, okay, I'll just play the highest card I have and hope that other people have lower cards of that same suit. So player 1 plays king of clubs. Player 2 has a clubs as well. So they have to play that even though it's lower. Player 3 doesn't have any clubs. And so they get to play their trump card, the second hearts here. And since that's trump, even though it's lower, it beats out the suit that was led. So player 3 wins that one. Now player 3 gets to lead again, and they lead with spades. And neither of the other players have spades. So even though they have way higher cards, since it's not the suit that was led and it's not trump, it's just a random suit, they both lose that. So player 3 wins this as well. And now at the end of it, player 1 won 1 trick, player 2 won 0 tricks, and player 3 won 2 tricks. So this time nobody made their bets. And so that's sort of how this game goes. Sometimes you win a ton of tricks, but you didn't bet that you were going to win that many. And so you totally just lose out. But other times you get really lucky and you're like, okay, I think I'm going to win exactly 1. And then you manage to win exactly 1. And then you score points for it. Anyway, that's basically how this game works. I can't like look at you guys at the same time that I'm showing you the field. And so it's hard for me to like look back and forth and be like, do you have any questions? But yeah, hopefully that all made sense.
That was tremendous. How? What's the name of that game one more time?
It's called Estimation. It's also known by the name Oh Hell, but I didn't know if that was appropriate for class, and so I called it Estimation.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, cool. It sounds like we should definitely like do that as a class someday. Especially with your excitement for that. Very cool. All right, let's go ahead and give Addie some comments. All right, Willie, if you're good to go, we're ready for you.
All right, everyone. I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. I have to pick the most boring sport in the world. But let me tell you, we're gonna learn something about golf today. But fun fact, it's actually a very dangerous game, especially if you don't know how to hold the club right. Because if you swing, you might accidentally drop it. Great. So what's the first thing we want to do is we're gonna learn how to hold the club. So I know many of you might not have a golf club, but we'll use pencils or pens to help us out over here. So I'll just quickly demonstrate what the grip looks completely, kind of like this. Cool, and how do we do this? Well, first thing we want to do is everyone grab a pencil. Don't be shy. Pencil, pen, a toothbrush, whatever you might have, an imaginary pencil, and you want to make sure you're holding it on your left hand first. Sweet. All right, you're probably thinking, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The next thing we want to do is grab our right hand, kind of put it next to the pencil, and we want to make sure our pinky's sticking out a little bit like that. Kind of do like the surfer handshake. Nice, nice. You want to make sure our index finger's open. What we want to do is we're going to put the pinky in between that index and those other fingers, kind of like that. And you're going to want to open the rest of your right hand palm. And I know it's going to feel a little weird, but then you're going to put the weight of your right hand over the pencil like this, and you're going to be like kind of like that. You're going to close the pinky and the index finger, just those two. And the fundamental part of the entire grip comes from those two fingers. They're going to lock us together the entire time. So that's the most essential part. So let's just practice that. Let's open it up again. Left hand. Let's slowly bring our right in. Stretch out that pinky if you want to do the surfer pose. Do the index. Put the pinky in between the index and the other fingers. Open up the right. Put the weight on the right hand. Be secure like this. Make sure these two are kind of like that. Squeeze them together. Then we're going to close our left hand over our the left side of our right hand, kind of like this, kind of grabbing it, kind of giving it a good hug. Then we're going to grab our right hand and then close the rest of it on our fingers, kind of like this. And if you were to pull it with both sides, the pinky and the index should be able to hold each other tight. You shouldn't be able to lose anything. Great. And the next thing we want to do is we want to line it up correctly. So we want to like turn our right finger once it's closed a little bit center with the both thumbs kind of lined up, pointing the same way, kind of in the same line. Kind of like that. Awesome. Can everyone show me if you can? Even you, Dr. Arau, don't be shy. Come on. Sweet. All right. Now for the next part. Seems like everyone's a quick learner. Before we continue with the actual grip of the hand, how about we just stand up? Everyone's kind of stand up. And we're gonna get into a nice golf pose. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Why is Willie making me stand? Well, you want to bend your knees a little bit. Here, I'll kind of do like a funny little spew. You kind of want to bend your knees. Have them like that. Then I'm going to turn to face you and we're going to work on something with our hips. So we want to put an X on our body like this. We want to just swing it back and forth, but make sure your head isn't moving. Just kind of keep it like, it's like stuck like a statue. You kind of want to move it like this. Like move your, okay. Sweet, and that's going to help with the swing, keeping it straight. And it's important not to move the head too much. If you want, well, you can like hold one and just kind of swing. That way it's going to help us have like a pretty straight swing and not hook anything. Sweet. Now let's go back to our pencil grip. Let's do the whole thing once again. Kind of like that. Now we're going to bend our knees again like we did in the beginning. And instead of doing an X, we're going to have the grip of the club. Put it down straight like this. Then when we turn to our right side of our shoulder, we're going to keep this arm straight. And we're going to kind of tuck this right arm a little bit like this. Make sure the left arm is straight the entire time and you're looking kind of down and making sure your head isn't moving. And the idea is when you do this, you're going to go down, connect, follow through, make sure your head's kind of facing the same way. Like that. And because you were holding the grip correctly, you shouldn't drop your pencil like, wee. Sweet. That was pretty much the lesson. I'll just kind of demonstrate a quick little club swing with a putter. Ta-da, that was it.
All right, thanks, Willie. All right, Tyler, if you're good to go.
Yes. Okay. So I'll rotate the camera again. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna teach. Can you hear me all right? I usually use AirPods. So, okay, cool. I'm going to teach a way dance style that I learned in my research fellowship over the summer, and that we did in percussion ensemble this past term. So if you are an avid fan of Lupe, you'll recognize it. And it's a dance called Agbekor. It's a war dance of the Ewe people, who are a tribal people who live in eastern Ghana in the Volta River region. And it sort of tells the story of like a small people fighting off a much larger army. And so we're gonna have to get up and dance, but while you're doing that, I'll start just doing it so you can just see what it looks like all put together, and then we're gonna do steps. So if you have space to get up and do some dancing, then go do that. Okay, so this is what the full basic move of this dance looks like. So it's just this like 4-step thing that involves jumping and repeats back and forth. So we're gonna just break it down. First, we're just gonna do the feet. And if I'm correct, like this is like your left, right? Like this isn't mirrored. Cool, awesome. So I'm gonna mirror. So just do like, you know. So we're gonna go to the right first. And it's just right, kick, left, cross, right, or sorry, God, left, kick, right, left, right, kick, left, right, left, kick, right, left, right, kick, left, right, left, kick, right, left, right, kick, left, right, left, kick, right, left, right, kick. Cool. And then the next thing to think about is that you're gonna want to kind of get like in this sort of seated position while you're doing this too. So that's just gonna be same thing, but just sort of a little bit of a squat, not too much. But yeah, that's a right, a left, right. Oh, sorry, God. Left, kick, right, left, right, kick, left, right, left, kick, right, left, right, kick. Cool. So now the arms, normally you'd be holding a horsetail here, but it doesn't really matter. And the arms, if we're starting at that same place, like where we're going to the left, say, your arms are going down. You're going down like this, and then they're like swinging out, and then they do a loop around. I need to do it, Fulton. Loop around, down. Okay, sorry, I missed a step. So it's down, out, in, swing, down, other way. So that could kind of be a lot. So it's, yeah, down, swing left, swing right, loop around, down, swing right, swing left, loop around, down, swing left, swing right, loop around, down, swing right, swing left, loop around, down. Cool. So that's everything. Now we gotta try to put it together. So remember, you're going down and then kicking. So the arms here, so it's left, left, kick. What's easy to remember it for is the arms go with the kick. Down, kick, and down, swing right, swing left, down, swing left, swing right, down, down, swing left, swing right, go around, down. And you're always crossing in front. And if at any point, like it's overwhelming, you can do just the feet or just the arms, whatever's more comfortable at this moment. We'd have a lot more than 5 minutes if we were doing this dance. So.
All right, thank you, Tyler. All right, and I did just look at the clock and I realized we have 2 more folks to go. So given that, we're going to jump ahead to Morgan.
Okay. So I'm going to teach you all how to do a long tail cast on for knitting because I figured some of you might already know how to knit. So this might be something new. If you have a pencil or a pen or anything, that's cool. And like a 2 foot or longer piece of string, you can do it with me. If not, you can watch. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to bring the camera in here, is tie a slip knot. And you want to make sure that you have a long tail on the one end of your string yarn so that you have that to work with later. So we're going to tie a slip knot. So you're holding your loop here. You make one twist in your yarn and then go through that loop and pull either end of the yarn through your loop and pull it tight. It doesn't matter which end you use, just pull one of them and pull it tight. Now that you have that little loop, stick your needle through it. And the reason it's called a slip knot is because it will slip on your string. You can see the loop is getting shorter and longer. So just move that knot so it's all the way right next to your needle. So now you have your slip knot on your needle. Now you have 2 ends of yarn coming off your needle. The yarn that's attached to the ball is called your working yarn. And the one that is not attached to anything is called, that's your long tail. So you want the long tail to be facing you and the working yarn in the back. Now you're going to take both of those and with the long tail facing you, you're going to capture them both with the lower part of your hand and then split them with your thumb and your forefinger. Capture them both and split them with your thumb and your forefinger. So it looks like that from the back. And remember, the long tail piece of yarn is in front, the working yarn is in the back. Then, now that you have this kind of diamond thing going on, I like to bring it down so that I have a V going on. And then I'm going to come around to the side. Underneath, you can see underneath both loops on the thumb. And I'm going to scrape up and along my thumb so that I'm in between these pieces of yarn. I'm going to capture the top piece of yarn on my pointer finger. So I'm coming out and around to pull it in towards me and then back through the loop on the thumb. So once again, that's coming up the thumb through the loop on the thumb, out and around to scoop up the yarn on the pointer finger and back through the thumb. Once you have it captured on the thumb, you let it drop off on the thumb and pull it tight. And that's your first stitch. So once again, same thing. It's just after that, it's the same thing, repeat, repeat, repeat. So you capture both strands of yarn, split them with your thumb and your forefinger, bring it down. So you have a little V, scoop up along your thumb, capture the top piece of yarn on your pointer finger and pull it back through the loop on your thumb. Let it drop off your thumb and pull it tight. Got our V, scoop up along the thumb in between, capture the top loop of yarn on the pointer finger and pull it back through the loop on the thumb, drop it off. And you'll see each time we do that, we add a stitch. This is going to make a really nice, pretty braid on the bottom of your knitting. And that makes it it's a sturdy cast on. It can be a stretchy cast on. If you cast this on with one size up of the size of needle that you need for your project, it's going to make a really nice stretchy cast on. And then once you cast it on the needles above, then you do the rest of your piece on the needles, the correct size needles. It can be a nice stretchy cast on. It makes it very easy to sew 2 pieces together if you have to sew them together once you're done knitting them. So I like the long tail cast on. So once again, we have both yarns. The working yarn is in the back, the long tail is in the front. Capture them both with the lower part of your hand, split with the thumb and the forefinger. bring it down so you have your V, scoop up along the thumb to capture the front loop, scoop out and around to get the top loop of the pointer yarn, back through the loop on the thumb, drop it off from the thumb, pull it tight. Are there any questions? I know it's hard when you can't do it at the same time.
All right, thanks, Morgan. I'm so sorry that I kind of messed up on the timing here. Let's jump real quick to Mark Lawrence.
Perfect. All right. I would say if we have more time, if you have a necktie with you, you could follow along with me, but just sit back, relax, and hopefully I can teach you a thing about how to tie a necktie. So neckties are great for formal wear if you end up finding yourself performing or going to a formal event such as a wedding or a funeral or something like that, or for music school auditions. One thing to notice right away is that I have the tie around my neck just like this, and there are two different ends. I have a smaller end of the tie and then I have a larger end of the tie. So right before we start tying, it's important to make sure that you have both ends hanging down like this, and you're going to want the larger end of the tie to stick down longer than the smaller end. And this is so that when the knot is done, the smaller end is hidden by the larger end, which makes it look more uniform and formal. So, since I am a right-handed person, I will keep the larger end on my right side of my body. And you want to make sure there's a couple inches where the larger end is sticking past the smaller end. And you're going to want to start by taking the bigger end and making an X right at the edge of the collar where your neck meets. And you're going to make an X, just like this. So, make the X, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take that big end that you just crossed, you're going to want to fold it under. After it's in an X, you want to fold it under so that it comes back to the right side of your body. Now notice how I'm using my left hand to keep the formation of the knot pinched so that the knot does not come undone when we tie it. So with your left hand pinching the knot by your neck and your right hand holding the thicker end of the tie, you want to fold the thicker end of the tie back over the knot so that the larger part of the tie is back on the left side. So now that you have that, you're going to again take the larger end of the tie, and there is a little hole right here between the collar and the formation of the knot. You're going to want to take that big end, you're going to want to fold it up through that hole, pulling it all the way through, and you will have formed your knot. Notice once this is done, you do not have to hold this anymore. The knot is already formed. So what you want to do once you have this knot formed right here, you'll notice that there's a little pocket right here where the small part of the tie is sticking out from. And what you want to do is you want to take the big part of the tie, and in this pocket, you want to stick it down so that it can cover the smaller tie. And usually it'll take a couple tries at first to get it right, but sometimes as you start out, it'll be hard to get the entirety of the smaller tie covered by the large tie. Otherwise it'll look like this, but that's okay. Practice makes perfect. And there's a little fold usually on the back of each tie where you can stick that little shorter end beneath so that it's hidden. And once you have it tied, you'll fold down your collar and you will have successfully, hopefully a little better than this, tied yourself a half Windsor knot. Does anybody have any questions?
Well done. All right. All right. Hey guys, this is a lot of fun. So sending everybody some comments here. Hopefully you're sending each other comments. I know some of you have 12:30 classes, so I don't want to keep you. Do look at the syllabus for Monday. You're going to be in groups. And it's really important that you are very prepared with the readings and particularly with standards, and look up the NAFME standards and the Wisconsin standards online. We're going to be doing a project based on standards and creating a lesson that will teach various standards. You're going to be put in groups of 3 people and have time to work together in class, and then you'll be teaching out in class too. So it'll be more of an in-class project. So come as prepared as you can. I don't expect you to memorize all the standards. Nobody has the standards memorized, but do kind of skim through them, get an idea of what they are. Cool? All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.